good accounting skills. It's useful for things like that. People can't bullshit you about the numbers. You probably know the numbers better than they do. You can read financial statements. You can understand what's going on. You understand, simple inventory systems, LIFO or FIFO or whatever. Managerial accounting is useful for understanding how to deal with inventories or how to make better managerial decisions within an organization. I don't think I'm an accounting expert at all. I hire other people that are accounting experts that have their bachelor's degree in accounting, their graduate degree in accounting. They teach accounting at universities. I have people like that help me with my accounting because I don't want to do it myself anyway. But none of those people, I know enough about it that none of those people could bullshit me and tell me, they wouldn't dare. It'd be a problem that I'd understand over a period of time of oh, this is not accurate.
If you don't have $1 million yet, you're living a much lesser life than what could be easily available to you with the right guidance. My head coach has freed up a few spots in his calendar to hold one-on-one strategy calls with the highest quality applicants. If you're doing well already and you're looking to accelerate your momentum and do even better, click the link in the description now and apply for your strategy session. More at the end of this video.
I took, 8 or so accounting classes over the years. I find the topic extremely dull. I don't really enjoy it. But what I do enjoy is, I could read financial statements well. I could understand what the hell's going on, or at least have a decent idea of what's going on when I look at, quarterly statements, annual statements, whatever, from publicly traded companies, or if I look at what's going on inside of a company. Even looking at things, I don't want to say too much about it, but the company I brought up briefly earlier I had a affiliate agreement with at one time. They bring in a new CFO and a couple other guys, and this guy creates a profit and loss statement, and he's showing me a P&L and telling me, oh, this and this and that, and we got to rearrange some things, and we got to cut the budget here, and we got to cut that, and I said, I pointed out several things on there. I'm saying, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. This is not right. And he knows he's smart enough to know that I'm right about most of those things at least. I know more what's going on in the finance in the company than he does because he's new there. And I have access to, for years, I have access to every credit card transaction, every purchase. If somebody bought a coffee, I have all the bank statements. I have every transaction that happens. I have access to look at all that shit. And I do. And so this guy's trying to tell me, he's showing me his P&L and tell me, oh, this, that. I said, show me the source data. Show me the source data, from this. Where are you getting those numbers from? And he's like, and I'm like, no. That's, he's, oh, yeah, just trust me. This is what it is. I was like, yeah. I trust you a lot better. Show me the source data, and let's talk it through together. And he's like, well, I'd have to get access to that and get permission to share it with you. So don't worry, I can get it. I can pull it up in my email. I have access to it. They didn't tell you that. And then, I'm not going to, I could say plenty of nasty things about those people, and I'll avoid that. But so you're missing this thing, you're missing this thing, you're missing this thing, you're missing this thing. Where's that accounted for? Where's this other thing accounted for? Et cetera, et cetera. And I said, this is nonsense. I said, they didn't tell you. They offered me your job. They wanted me to be CFO, but I don't have time. It's just, if I want to be a CFO, I'd have a Wall Street job. I wouldn't do it here. It's not the type of job I want to have anyway. And I said, they didn't tell you that? They sent you in here to bullshit me through these numbers? And they didn't tell you that I know the numbers better than anybody in the company? They didn't bother to tell you that? And he was in a pretty awkward situation there. So, and then they got this other auditor guy from Deloitte that he wasn't there for long. So they got this auditor guy from Deloitte that's, both of these guys are in their 50s, and, they're trying to tell me, dirt. And I said, get the fuck out of here. I just laughed about it, I just laughed at them. It's like, and, am I going to be personally offended by these clowns that I just met? I just met these guys. So they just got put into a bad situation where they don't understand what they were getting themselves into. But in any case, so, good accounting skills, it's useful for things like that. People can't bullshit you about the numbers. You probably know the numbers better than they do, in some contexts, And you can read financial statements. You can understand what's going on. You can understand if something's, likely bullshit. You understand, simple inventory systems, LIFO or FIFO or whatever, or, managerial accounting is useful for understanding, how to deal with inventories or how to make better managerial decisions within an organization. And I don't think I'm an accounting expert at all. I hire other people that are accounting experts that have their bachelor's degree in accounting, their graduate degree in accounting. They teach accounting at universities. I have people like that help me with my accounting because I don't want to do it myself anyway. But none of those people, I know enough about it that none of those people could bullshit me and tell me, they wouldn't dare. Like, it'd be a problem that I'd understand over a period of time of like, oh, this is not accurate. Maybe quickly, but certainly within months, I'd understand that, like, yeah, this is not accurate, and they'd be gone. I don't owe those people any respect or decency whatsoever, but I also don't feel great in my own head for talking too much about their personal things or throwing them under the bus. But to give you a bullet points on that is like they want to restructure various pay systems for people in the organization and beat up other people on their on how the money is split within the company to keep more money for themselves. That's the crux of it. And at that time they already owed me significant money, and I said, well, pay me everything that I'm owed, and then say, hey, we're not going to change those systems because I'm bringing in the money and I don't need to agree to that ever. But pay me everything that I'm owed. Give me all the back pay that I'm owed. And then we can have a conversation about it. And in the meantime, I don't accept any restructuring of numbers at all, which I thought was reasonable. And even if it was unreasonable, it was less unreasonable than they were about some things, so I still thought it was reasonable. You'd want to understand, manager. If we pick some specific classes, you'd want to understand, managerial accounting, financial accounting. Managerial accounting just gives you enough information to be able to make better decisions within an organization. Financial accounting helps you understand, basic financial statements, income statement, statement of cash flows, statement of owner's equity, balance sheets, how to read a balance sheet, how to read and construct those financial statements. You'd want to take something like financial statement analysis, which would be a higher level class of being able to read, corporate statements, publicly traded companies, financial statements. You'd want to know, some basic fundamentals of tax accounting. And I say basic stuff because the law changes on that constantly. There's no the tax code is so big, it's like 30,000 pages. That's just the federal tax code, not states too. The federal tax code is so big, there's nobody in the world that knows all of that shit. And they change it all the time. So no one knows everything in the tax code, and certainly not the politicians that wrote it. They may know the least about some of it. So, but you'd like to understand, basic, tax accounting. So I think those four would give you, at least you could have a conversation about those topics or have a decent, by the time you get through financial statement analysis or whatever they may call it at your university, now you actually understand, you could create a balance sheet, read a balance sheet, understand the underlying documents that go into creating the balance sheet. Read an income statement, understand how money is coming into the company, how it's being moved around the company, what are the managerial policies that should be put in place within an organization or things to be avoided. So again, being a better manager to use resources more wisely for enhancing profitability. And that's a good start. Understand some basic tax stuff. So if you took those four classes, that's a good start, I would say. And then you could decide from there if there's something else you'd like to fill in the blanks on. You don't need to be a CPA unless you really want to be a CPA. You don't need to be a CPA, but most CPAs are good at doing somebody else's taxes or shit, but that doesn't mean they actually know anything about a business. Some of them do. So I want to make that split too. Some of them are smart enough to use that education, and then they have a lot of business owners coming in and out of there, and they actually learn about businesses and, invest in some of those businesses the way that some attorneys do as well. But the standard of, a normal CPA is just some dude doing taxes mostly. They're doing payroll and taxes for people. They're not that damn smart, or they're not real business people. They're just doing payroll and taxes for somebody else's business. Now, you could use that foundation to be a better business person as well, but you could do a lot of things and be a better business person. So that has to be a personal choice. But if you're interested in the topics that we talk about, in those 3 mentoring courses, I think those 4 classes, that's a good start at being like, okay, I have a basic competence in these things. I understand what's going on in general. And then you could have conversations with, subject matter experts that probably are still going to do the stuff for you, but you're going to understand what's going on, basically. And you'll be able to read financial statements for yourself and understand businesses better for, again, for entrepreneurship and investment purposes. I don't know that I'd go to college at all anymore in terms of go pick the classes you want to learn from. The degree doesn't mean what it used to, man. A bachelor's degree doesn't mean what it used to. Everybody's got a bachelor's degree. Plenty of people with a bachelor's degree work at like Whole Foods and Starbucks and shit. And some of those degrees are worth nothing. If you got a bachelor's degree in feminist studies or whatever, some just nonsense, a nonsense degree is like, all that means is you're persistent in your poor judgment. Not only did you have poor judgment, but you didn't switch majors somewhere in between. You showed a persistence in your poor judgment to get a degree in a nonsensical topic. I'd rather hire a real entrepreneur, some kid that started a couple business and kind of f***ed them up, but learned some shit on the way. Than I'd have more faith in that today. I used to say I used to say this different 10 years ago. Some of you were around and know that. 8 or 10 years ago, kids had asked me, Derek, should I go to college? Like, yeah, dumbass, you have to go to college. But they f***ed it up so bad. I don't know. You don't learn the same things you used to in a university. So this might sound bizarre to some of you, but if a kid came to me, he's 22. He had a couple small-time, lowly successful, moderately successful, small-time little businesses that you could build by 22. He had a little experience in something like that. He took a dozen random classes in topics that were pragmatically useful, like accounting, finance, statistics, whatever, at a local university for that matter. I'd be like, well, that kid's thinking intelligently, that he's trying to learn things that are pragmatic. Maybe he took some coding classes too, some computer science related things. I'd be like, oh, this kid's trying to learn about business. He's trying to learn about entrepreneurship. He's trying to learn about some computer science maybe. Who would you guys hire?
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.